Hey there you guys, welcome back. Today we are going to plant some dahlia, what do they call them? Let's call them tubers, Dahlia tubers. So I bought a few types of dahlias. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm a plant lover, alright? So don't have any garden outside, and I keep buying stuff. So eventually this year the garden's not going to be a beautiful thing. It's going to be a work in progress because they've still got to put the sod in, and then we're going to have them work on the driveway, and then we're going to have steps installed. So it's going to be a few-year process, and you guys will be a part of it. So anyway, I have to get stuff. I have to shop. So anyway, I've got all these beautiful dahlias. This one here is a stunner. That is beautiful. What is this one called? Hawaii. It's very tropical looking. So I'm going to plant this one, and I want to show you what I look for when I buy a dahlia tuber, or this one here is a perfect example of what I'm looking for. You want to make sure that the bulbs or the roots are not emaciated, not all wrinkly and gross, and they need to have some life to them. So let's just pull this one out, because I see that this one has exactly what I'm looking for. Alright, so here we go. Trying not to get soil everywhere. I'm in the living room. So notice it has this white growth. It could be white, it could be red, it could be pink, but you're looking for some life. There's actually life all around this one, but you get what I'm trying to say. You're trying to find one that's going to be alive for you. And then what you're going to do is you're going to plant them. I prefer to plant them in at least an 8-inch pot. I'm going to put this one off to the side. At least an 8-inch pot, but you want to actually be a deep pot. So like a 1-gallon size pot, depending on the size of your root ball, you want to give it enough space. For me, they're not going to be planted in a pot all the time. I'm just giving them a head start. I want them to start growing so that when they go outside for the spring, it's mid-April, by the way. So you want to give them, excuse me, everything's pre-moistened. I don't know why I'm choking on dust. Anyway, yeah, I want to give them a head start. I want to get them growing. I want to get them acclimatized to the outside. And then I want to have them ready to go out into the garden by May. Middle of May. May 24th is our last frost date. So, yeah, I want to have them ready to go for then. So we're going to plant one up. I really wanted to do this one. I want to plant the Hawaii right now. And this is the one I'll do with you because I only have a limited amount of soil right now. Everything is all over the place, and again, I'm in the living room. I'm actually doing this before work, so not working on a Saturday or a Sunday, but I pre-record my videos, as you probably are well aware. So anyway, this one here, this one is this beautiful Hawaii. What do they call this one? This is like a, I think they call it a pin cushion or something ball. This one I actually don't... Oh, yep. I see it. You probably will not be able to see it, but there's a little... You won't be able to see it. A little bit of color going on in there. Again, I bought these almost a month ago, so chances are it's not going to have all of the color that I'd like it to have when I buy it way back then. So I'm going to take this pot. This is not one that I would usually use, but I'm kind of short on pots right now. So I'll bring you down closer so you can see what I'm doing. My goodness, I got a big old mess going on down here. You're not gardening unless you're making a mess, by the way. You can't be a gardener and be 100% clean, let me tell you. So with these guys, you'll notice that you got to be careful with them. How am I doing right now for putting everything into frame? Let me move the camera a little bit closer. There we go. This will be better. So this is up. This is the stem. I don't know whether you're able to see, but you'll notice where they've cut it off at the base, and then the roots come down below that. So anyway, you want to kind of mound up your soil in the bottom of the pot. I'm using pre-moistened soil again. This is what I always like to use, but it's always hard for me to do. Being careful. This is where a taller pot is better, because then they can kind of hang down rather than being all lumped up. But I don't really care at this moment. Like, I care, but I don't care. They're going to survive. They're not going to be living their life in this pot, so I'm just getting them a head start, like I said. So I've made a lump in the center, and then you kind of put the roots kind of around, kind of like you'd be planting a hosta root. And normally you'd like to have this grow in the center of the pot, but this is, see how far off to the side it is? But I can't really choose because of the size of this pot. So anyway, basically I just want to cover the roots and leave the stem exposed. So maybe the roots maybe about a centimeter or half an inch under the soil surface, and then obviously they go deeper from there because they're roots, they go down. And then yeah, this is what it's going to look like. I'm going to give this a couple of days before I water it again. Again, the soil is moist. It's not overly wet, but it's damp. It holds itself together if I do that. If I put it in a fist, but it doesn't stay together like a big old mud pie. So you want to just maintain it. You don't want things to rot. They're not growing right now, so they don't want a whole lot of moisture. So I don't want to soak this. So after it dries out, I'll give it a light watering again. Probably every, I don't know, 3 days I'll check on it and maybe give it a little bit of a drink. And be aware that because the surface is dry, doesn't mean that the bottom is dry. So you want to just make sure, feel the pot, feel it for weight, and if it feels a little heavy, give it a couple more days until you start seeing active growth. When you start seeing active growth, that means that the plant is probably starting to produce roots and it's going to be taking up that moisture. Until you see that, I would keep it on a strict diet for water. No need to fertilize at this time. Wait until you start seeing growth, maybe about 6 to 10 inches above the ground before you start fertilizing. And I would just use an all-purpose fertilizer. I usually use a 20-20-20, but you could go with a super bloom because you want these to bloom. Yeah, anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. Show me your dahlias. I know that many of you are big dahlia fans, and they can produce the most beautiful blooms that get so big. Yeah, anyway, I'd love to see what you're growing. Join us on the Plants and Things What's Growing page. I haven't been on there a lot because I've been really busy, but I hope to make some appearances coming very soon. Anyway, until next time, happy growing everyone.